So in this video, we're going to make that sword out of foam board. I'm going to show you how to do it step by step. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about something very unusual about this statue. And I don't mean the gray dot. I put that in just for modesty. But there is something about this statue that people don't notice, and they're going to be surprised. But here, the statue was made between 1804 and 1806. So you are going to be making a copy of a marble sword that's over 200 years old. And isn't it kind of neat? Good project. But and about that statue, take a look back maybe and see if you notice something or you discover something. And I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Okay, so let's take a look. Here's the sword we make. Right, out of one sheet of foam board, a little bit of paint, a little bit of glue, and that's it. It's even got that hook on it with a little bit of a beveled edge on it, which gives it a nice touch. And in this video, I do something new. We make this little box, which is the guard. Kind of easy to do. I'll show you how to do that. So let's do it.
Dioramas, origami, catapults, and trebuchets, telescopes, terrariums, bonsai trees, and paper games, swords and shields, and real blacksmithing, rattle rockets, animation. I teach the art of real creation. StormTheCastle.com. Let's make something.
So we start out with a sheet of foam board. Get the biggest sheet you can get. If you want to make the biggest sword you can make. And it's 5 millimeters thick. Typically, foam board's 20 by 30 inches. And then now I don't have a template for this project, but you can draw this sword out. Look, I'm just using a piece of foam board or cardboard as a straight edge to just draw it. See, like that. Do the tip, and feel free to modify it as you see fit, because you're going to cut it and paint it. It doesn't matter. You can have as many lines on there as you want. Once you do the blade and the tip, go on to the handle like this. And if you're doing this project, you can pause this video and take a really good look at how I did mine, or even look at the picture of the sword in the museum and copy that. It's really easy. You'll get the hang of it. And draw the line down the middle, because that adds depth. It gives a little bit of depth to the sword. So, and add these little pieces on here like this. One on each side, and then make a fake one in the middle. See, it's important because our guard we make, that box, is going to slide over the handle and then add in the hook. And we're going to do something a little bit different with this too. We're going to actually cut and bevel that a little bit so it has some depth to it too. So a fun little project. You don't need a whole lot of materials, and it comes out pretty good. So go ahead and cut that sword right out. And watch those triangles right there. Don't cut them away. You want them part of the sword. Like that. See it? So now a single sheet of foam board is okay, but it's not a very strong sword. So we're going to actually make a double layer. And a double layer is much better, a stronger sword, and it won't warp or bend when you paint it. So place that first one you made on top of your scrap of foam board, trace it, cut that one out, and then glue the two of them together. So now you've got a nice strong sword. It's pretty durable. You can kind of have some fun with it. And I use hot glue gun, which you know I love, but you can use regular Elmer's white glue, any kind of a glue like that, anything that glues paper together, because foam board is actually sheets of paper on the outside and foam in the core. Sometimes it's called foam core. And then once you got those glued together, clean them up a little bit with some sandpaper and your knife to make the edges nice and clean. Now we are going to make the guard, and because you don't have a template, excuse me, do this: lay the sword on the foam board, and then draw out a box, so you know the size of the guard you want. So it looks good. And that way you can measure that and use that as your measurement to make yours. And I'll show you. You'll see. It's pretty easy. But here, let me do a drawing for you to show you what we are making. We're just making a box like this with 6 sides. 4 of the sides are long and 2 of the sides are short on the ends. So, and this is how we do it, like this. See it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then cut that whole thing out. Just all the way around the outside of it. Cut it out of your foam board. And now we bevel it so we can fold it up. So watch this. This is how you do that. You cut down the line like this, but not all the way through. You're just cutting the paper and the foam. Don't cut the bottom layer of paper. And then you cut angled cuts like this to form a groove. See how I'm angling the blade? One on this side and one on that side. And I'll show you, it creates a notch. And we'll take a look at the side of that so you can understand what I mean by a notch. But I'm at a 45-degree angle there, cutting away the paper and the foam. But don't press so hard that it cuts the bottom layer of paper. And it's okay if it's a little messy. It's going to be enclosed inside the box. You won't see it. And you can even practice this technique if you wanted. Grab yourself a piece of foam board and practice. But look, see how it's a V-shaped notch? So you do all those lines. Every line that's seen, see, so now you can fold it like that. There you go. Now do all the lines. There you go. I'm finishing up the last one. Even the external lines like this. So there, see it? Now you can take a look and see how every single line, even internal, external, has been done. And now you can fold it up and glue it into your box. And that is the guard of the sword. Very nice, neat little technique. I'm not sure if I've done this before, but it's just right, and you know, it looks good for a marble sword. So I'm having fun. I don't know if you're following my channel, if you're just seeing this one video, but I am traveling all around America, visiting castles and all kinds of medieval sites and blacksmiths and stuff like that, and I get a lot of videos coming all around America. So now, measure it out and cut a slot like that. The sword is going to slide into this, but only as far as those triangles you made. And you'll see what I mean. So you cut the slot on the top and on the bottom. So the whole thing, the sword slides through the whole thing. Yeah, so you flip it over and do that one too. And then now you do this. Slide that guard all the way up, like right up against those triangles, and you're done. You can glue it in place. There you go. So now we do a bevel in this because it just adds a nice look to it. Cut through the paper and the foam, but not the bottom layer of paper. And then now you can press that down with your finger and try to glue it in place. Or if you're using hot glue gun, a neat little thing to do is to lift up the paper like this and put hot glue in there, because what that does, it actually melts the foam. So now you can press it down, use a tool because it's hot, and press it down. So it causes a nice, sort of like a cliff. So there is a distinct difference in height between the curved section and the flat section of the blade. Do that on this side and on the other side of the sword. So add this little triangle there, right there where my thumb is, and you're done with the building. So now we're going to paint it and do some detail work. Now, I'm using 2 colors. I'm using white and parchment. But you can use, if you don't have parchment, which is kind of an odd color, you can use white and add just a little tiny bit of brown to it, just to make it kind of like an off-white. Because that's what happens with the marble over years, centuries, decades. It yellows a little bit in certain spots. So for the most part, do most of the sword a nice white color. And then add some of that off-white, and I'll show you a little bit of that. But sparingly in different areas. Now here, right here, like in the corners and the sections there, a little bit on the top. Let's wear it around. It'll give it a nice marbled look. A little bit of aged marble. And go ahead and paint the whole sword. Easy enough, have fun with this, and it doesn't come out as good on video, but you'll see it when you're painting it. So, but you could paint the whole thing white if that's what you wanted to do. But I use the parchment paint, and I like it. So now let's add the details and finish the sword up. And we will take a look at the sword itself, the marble sword in the statue. And I just copied the same thing that it had. So you can, pause this and take a look at that and see the nice rosettes and the little dots and the little ornamental work there and like the flower patterns. So I did the same exact thing, just with a pencil. You could even go so far as to use your hot glue gun to do it in like a bas relief if you wanted it to have some depth to it, some height. But there you go. Add all the details. Like I said, pause it if you'd like to do it the same as the authentic marble sword. But kind of a neat idea. I kind of like this. Seeing the sword in the museum, it's 200 years old, it's made out of marble. And I said, hey, let's make that sword the Sword of Perseus, as this artist envisioned it. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool. So you can do that too. And I have actually a bunch of other projects scheduled for the same kind of a thing. I spotted the thing in a museum, and some of them are really kind of interesting and different. And I'm going to make them as I travel America. If you like castles and medieval things, subscribe to my channel. And the series is called Medieval America. And that's it. The sword is done. You have made Perseus' sword. Now look, let's get back to what I meant about the statue, if you hadn't already figured out. Now the gray dot is there because I put that there just for modesty. But notice that Perseus is looking at the Medusa. So what happens if you look at the Medusa's face or eyes? You turn to stone. So is this actually a sculpture, or is this really happened? Did Perseus, you know what I mean? Is that what we're saying here? Perseus actually turned into stone because he cut off the Medusa's head and then looked at it. Makes me wonder. So anyway, this is part of my Medieval America series. Although it's not an official number, it's not like number video 12 or anything, but I'm traveling all around the country visiting castles and medieval sites, like the one you're going to see here down this windy little road, and I think this was Ohio, to see a place called Chateau La Roche. And here we go, this is Chateau La Roche, sometimes called Loveland Castle. Thank you. More stuff coming.